Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Star Wars Battlefront II Modded. I am Atyrum, and we're finally taking a look, after I've mentioned it several times, at the Knights of the Old Republic era in the Star Wars Battlefront 1 conversion pack. This is actually a really interesting map here because it's based off of the opening level from the Knights of the Old Republic game, and I feel like it really gets it down, and it's a completely custom model map. Custom animations for the doors, you know, they're a little slow, but I mean, that's the way they were in the game, so it looked a little funny to have them work any faster, but it just gets it so right. I mean, maybe it's a little more low res than it looks in the game at highest quality settings, but it looks just about right. Like, I mean, I almost feel like if you took a screenshot of this game, you could almost pass it off for a screenshot of Knights of the Old Republic. But yeah, I mean, as I'm playing through this, I'm not going to spoil any of the Knights of the Old Republic games. If you haven't played them and you're for some reason watching this video, because I also do kind of plan on playing those games at some point on this channel as well, although that'll have to wait until I'm done with some of the other RPGs that I have planned. But yeah, this is a nice little era that was added onto the conversion pack. It's a lot of fun to play because it's all new custom units, and if you've played the Knights of the Old Republic games, it's nice to see basically be able to play as an infantryman on the front lines, and also I wonder if that's supposed to be a texture right there because it almost looks like you can walk right through that. I wonder if maybe you play on lower res settings that might show up better. That seems to be the case with certain things in Battlefront 2. But yeah, it's a really fun lots of new little units, so we're probably going to spend a couple of episodes on this era. Probably only one on this map because there's only so much to show on this map because it is a fairly linear map, but of course the source material is fairly linear as well. And of course our hero is going to be Carth Onasi, who was the captain of this ship, if I'm correct. Yeah, and we'll be trying out all these units at some point as well. But yeah, let's go and play as Carth, who, if I remember correctly, plays pretty similarly to... maybe not, okay. Okay, yeah, his main pistol is a Han Solo kind of copy, Han Solo's pistol from the default game. But then his secondary fire on that weapon is actually Sniper Shot, which is a type of weapon, or a type of attack that you use in the game. It's something that you charge up, and it also has a scope, just like a sniper rifle would. And it seems to knock out infantrymen in one hit, although it's kind of hard to tell because these guys were already damaged. Yeah, it took out that Sith over there pretty easily, so that's nice. And yeah, one little quirk about this era as well is that it doesn't have ammo for your primary guns, but it does. You still do have to reload. Ooh, and that grenade, we just ate that right in the face. But you still do have to reload. You just don't have an actual ammo count, so it's a nice little thing. I mean, it does seem a little weird how Star Wars still has ammo counts, despite the fact that they're like laser weapons. And this mode is actually designed by a guy named Maverichel, who was basically the one who finished up and completed the conversion pack and ironed out a lot of the bugs for the 2.0 release. And he also went on to make the Dark Times mod, which is another very well-known mod. And it seems like this is kind of like an early version of that system of ammo and such, because in the Dark Times mod, there's also no ammo, but instead there's overheating. You don't actually reload your gun that does not have ammo. Either way, I kind of like the overheating system better, because it is a little bit easier to see the overheat going around the reticle than it is to see your little ammo ticks. I don't even know if you can see them that well in the video. You'd have to be watching it full screen on a decent sized monitor probably. But yeah, there's actually little ammo ticks that kind of show you how much ammo you have remaining. Because normally in the game you would actually have ammo on your little weapon bar down in the bottom left. But that's not going to show up because the ammo is technically infinite. And yeah, we are getting close to the final command post over here. There's only 4 of them. I'm going to throw a couple grenades down and probably just let myself die here. Yeah, there we go. And of course, we won't be able to play as any of the other units. We can play as the Spy, who is another new unit we just unlocked. I guess we start out with the Stealth Field Generator in our primary weapon slot. I thought we were going to be able to shoot people right away, so I started rapid firing that, and I didn't realize that, you know, it was my weapon that I had out at the time. So basically, this guy can go invisible. Basically, your basic stealth unit. If we go and back up a little bit, Of course, once you switch weapons or get hit, then your stealth goes away. And why are these guys not fighting each other? That's a little weird. And he has another kind of like burst fire kind of weapon, which is, I kind of like those kinds of weapons. And it's different from, of course, the rapid fire, you know, hold down the button kind of rifles that the infantrymen have. And it's also different from, you know, single shot kind of weapons. So it's nice to have a little bit of variety there. And we did get taken out by some of these Sith troopers. Yeah, definitely not the kind of guy you want to play like I just played him, just rushing in. But yeah, so anyways, we're going to play as a T something unit. I think it's a T3 unit, not T3M4 from the games, but I don't know if this is technically still a T3 unit or if it's just a T something else unit. But this guy has a sonic blaster, which is another weapon from the Knights of the Old Republic games. And he can actually shoot over this console over here, which is kind of interesting, because his little firing points where the weapon is technically fired from is actually above his head. He's also got shields. He's got kind of like a shock weapon, which kind of helps to stun enemies. It's probably a more technical way to play these units for maximum efficiency, but it's been a little while since I played this era, so I don't quite remember for sure. I do know that the captain unit is a grenadier, much like the captains in Knights of the Republic tended to be, especially a certain boss later in the games. So basically, he has several different kind of grenades that have different effects. One of them kind of draws in enemy units, and one of them is more damaging. And in fact, I only remember this because I think during like the beta test of this mod, possibly, I remember playing against Maverichel, the guy who actually designed all these units and such, and he used the captain against me, I feel like a couple times, and managed to get me with it. I don't know why I remember that specifically, but I do. So, actually, let's go ahead and not play as a standard unit, the standard trooper unit, because we just played as a standard trooper unit on the other team there. Let's go ahead and play as a heavy trooper, who's a little bit slower and has a, I believe, slower firing blaster rifle, but it's a lot more powerful. It's less accurate at longer ranges. Also has some mines and grenades, and of course a pistol like most units do. So yeah, let's go ahead and head up this way. And of course this is the Renvar Citadel map from the Battlefront 1. Another map that was also included in the Xbox DLC, although this is not going to be identical to the Xbox DLC one. I think they changed some of the skies and lighting in the Xbox DLC possibly, and those changes are not present because this was, I feel like the conversion pack was actually released, maybe not this incarnation of it, but the first version of it was definitely released before the Xbox DLC was even announced, I'm pretty sure. Although, don't quote me on that, I might be incorrect, because I think I started joining the modding community after the conversion pack, the first version of it had been released. Because that was pretty soon after the game came out, actually. And I can't quite remember what content was in that version of it. Because stuff like the Knights of the Old Republic stuff that we're playing right now, and you know, all these other game modes and extra maps and stuff, I don't think those were added in until later versions. Although now that I think of it, I think there were a couple other maps that are no longer present that were actually present in earlier versions as well. By which I'm referring to some other maps that were not Battlefront 1 maps. And yeah, we can play as Chundar, who is a Wookiee from the Knights of the Republic number 1. But I don't think we're really going to play as him because I think he's just a basic melee unit, if I remember correctly. I'm going to press F1. Okay, so he's a melee and ranged unit, but no, I think we're going to pass on that. Let's go ahead and play as... so the Assassin is kind of the equivalent of the Spy on the Republic side, although he's a melee unit instead, which is kind of interesting. And the Sith Warbot, let's give the Sith Warbot a try, because the Sith Warbot has a couple of different weapons it can use. It's got a flamethrower, and it's got another burst fire kind of rifle, although it fires in bursts of 2, and you can kind of rapid click it, so it's a little bit different. And let's go ahead and figure out how to get out of here. I gotta remember that. We take a look at our mini-map real quick. I think this is the way to go to get to the enemy's front lines, as opposed to our own little area back that way that we just came from. One little quirk of the shields, by the way, you probably didn't get a chance to see it over there, by the way, when I was attacking that droid over there, but basically when you have a shield as a regular unit, you can't actually tell how much health you have, because when the shield's present, it's going to show the shield trying to regenerate, and you won't be able to see how much health is underneath that shield. So you could have a unit with, you know, a ton of health or not very much health, and you wouldn't be able to tell how much health it had, because the shield is kind of... It always shows the shield, because the shield is constantly regenerating. So even when the shield's at 0, it's regenerating up to 1. I don't know if this is making sense, because I'm trying to explain this in the best way possible, but So basically what that means is you'll never be able to see the health underneath the shield. Because if you deplete the shield all the way to 0, obviously it would go down to the health, but since it's constantly regenerating the shield, it's always going to be at least at one hit point for the shield, so you're never going to be able to see the health under the shield. So basically, if a unit has a lot of health or not very much health, you can't tell, which I feel like kind of influences some tactical decisions you might make, trying to decide whether or not to run in and attack a command post or something like that, because you can't really tell how much health they actually have. So it's just a little quirk of the game is what I'm trying to say, because I don't think the game developers really intended for individual units to have shields. We can demonstrate it on this guy. See, if I go ahead and shoot... Oh, well, I guess he's going to jump off, so never mind on that. But yeah, I don't think the game developers really intended for units to have shields. It was mostly intended for... especially not regenerating shields, but it was mostly intended for stuff like starships, like the capital ships in the space maps. So yeah, it's just a little quirk, and it makes it really difficult to tell how much health your enemies have when they have a shield. Okay. Oh, and by the way, the voiceover files I believe are going to be the Empire from the Galactic Civil War era and the Rebel Alliance from the Galactic Civil War era, because of course I don't think they had anybody to really like do custom voiceovers or anything like that. So sometimes it can be a little bit disconcerting to hear, oh, the Rebel Alliance is taking a command post. I thought that was the Republic, but I guess not. But yeah, it's just one of those things that it's kind of hard to, cover all your bases when making a new era and like really, make it feel more, what's the word? I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but basically, it's something that would be nice, but I don't think there really were any like voice actors or anything like that in the modding community. So yeah, we're playing as the Dark Side Adept here, who is basically your lightsaber unit here. He's got a short lightsaber, actually. He's also got a Force Shock ability, which is in the Knights of the Old Republic games. The basic form of Force Lightning before you upgrade it, because as I've mentioned before, it is an RPG. So you do level up and increase the power of your Force powers and such like that. And it seems to work just like Force Lightning in the default Battlefront II game. So that's interesting to see. For some reason, I thought you could charge it up, but I think I'm probably thinking of Force Lightning in the Dark Times mod. I do get, I sometimes get certain weapons mixed up between those two mods because they were made by the same author, or at least this era and that mod were made by the same author. So some of the things you can kind of tell where certain themes evolved, and I know that theme of like certain unit themes evolving. It's kind of also present in certain mods of my own as well. Of course, my final mod that I really released was the Ultimate Battlefront: The Clone Wars mod, and before that, I had a couple mods that kind of used a similar kind of unit system. You can kind of see the evolution there as well, and we'll probably be demoing those at some point. Obviously, we already played the Ultimate Battlefront: The Clone Wars mod. But yeah, we got a couple units left here to finish off. We just got to figure out where they are. And I feel like we've kind of run around the whole map over here by now, because we died over here at one point. So we have kind of shown off the whole thing. And we just got to figure out where those remaining couple of units are. Did they capture back? They captured back this area over here, it looks like. So go ahead and finish this guy off or not. I guess our allies have that handled. Oh, and that was the last unit right there. So there we go. And I believe that's going to do it. We did 2 missions here. So yeah, that's the end of this episode. The next one, we'll keep playing some more Knights of the Republic era, and there's also a space map that I want to do as well, so I got to find my controller again and dig that up, because playing with my keyboard does not work so well. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next part.